Hello, and welcome to my show, Midwest Weekly. Starring myself, here with my co hosts for another week in a row, CLT. We're keeping it together. And a special guest today. He is an unbelievable player. He is the top laner of Instinct, our friend of the show, Arctic. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello, good to be here. Uh, Long time coming, but I'm excited to finally carve out the time to hop on.
Yes, it is a long time. Eventually, we'll get all the Instinct on the show at some point. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if you're the first of the members. You might
I would
be.
not be surprised. I feel like, much love to my teammates, but they're like allergic to interviews, so
Wait, CLT, did we have Good Boy out?
I'm
No,
it
no.
might have been Don Don. If any,
I,
I
if
think Don Don
it,
would have been the likely one to jump on.
yeah, I think we did get them done.
I think
Get
so
done
too.
done.
I gotta ask him at some point now. Double check that. But nonetheless, welcome to the show. But yeah, we'll dive right in. I know, like you said, you don't have so much time, so we'll go ahead and we'll start off here with your series. So we're gonna start with the loser bracket semifinals here. That was obviously played between Instinct and the Hashira. So unfortunately, guys, we should all be used to this by now. Battlefy sucks. There's no stats up here for us. So we'll just jump over here to the YouTube and how about we start with you here, Arctic, and maybe kind of give us some details here on game one and maybe draft or something that sticks out to you in the first game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that draft was nothing like too extraordinary. I think that we had a couple of picks that we were thinking, all right, like these are some of the curveballs that they might throw us. This is some stuff that we know might end up being a handshake. We thought that the Wukong Jinzhou might be like exactly that, the jungle handshake. And then we had a vague idea of what we wanted to play after that. We are talking about, like what I might want to blind on blue side because, probably not going to get counter. So figured we'd again go back to the possibly one of the most classic picks we have, which is the Ornn. I don't know. This was like instinct bread and butter kind of draft. We weren't like reinventing the wheel. Um, and then yeah, the bans were mostly just to cover the curveballs that we thought they could throw at us. Like the Mel and the Hui, I think we saw were flexed between the like 80 carry and mid. So, but yeah, draft wasn't too crazy. Other than the Nasus pick was interesting. I respect it. I think that um, it's not as simple for Nasus as you might think. Orn doesn't have to just be this passive kind of like, watch the other person scale laner that he might have a reputation for. But I think other than that, though, yeah, I mean, it was pretty standard and nothing super spicy before the match started.
I did see. We just watched your little solo kill here at 4 minutes. Pretty nice little slick kill there. The combo was always clean. Um, but I mean, Nasus just feels like a champion that I don't feel like Orange should be abusing, regardless. Like, because Nasus just wants to chill anyways. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Is just hard favored Ornn early?
I mean, I think that yes, I think that this kind of played out exactly as I thought it might. I think that like, Ornn can bully Nasus early, and especially not taking flash, opens up opportunities for Ornn to land his combos and opens up opportunities for dives. I think that after six is like if Nasus is close, it's very hard for like Ornn to just finish him off, because the ult and the lifesteal are very hard to fight through. But yeah, I think early there's definitely windows to do this type of thing. So
Yeah, I would definitely say I've liked seeing the Nasus. I think we saw it last week as well. I don't remember if it was Gyu that played it. I want to say who played that CLT. Do you remember? Was it last week or the week before?
I believe Noah brought that out.
Was it the Noah thing? Yeah, it's been interesting to see
Uh,
like the pick because it's not something that's obviously going to be a hard favorite in this meta, but I think it's a good wrinkle.
yeah,
As far as
it
like the
certainly
pick.
can be a pain in the ass if you don't like if you're not prepared for it. Um, I think that there's so many conditions that need to be met for Nasus to be like a really powerful pick, just full stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even if he is powerful in lane and scales a little bit, the problem with the champion is just that he lacks anything other than walking at your opponent. And so you need a specific opponent's team comp to like make it make sense. So it's hard. I mean, it's doable with like creative flanks and things, but it's just hard to like stay stuck to your opponents if they have significant peel, even if the lane goes well, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a crazy like for a game one fearless seems pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think
No,
that
huge
yeah.
respect. I mean, yeah, like
You're pulling it out.
yeah.
I mean, it's a nice
Right.
attempt. I could see the angle like into something like the Sivir. It's not that bad. A mobile champion. The only problem is, she obviously has her spell shield. Um, into Azir, it's probably like impossible. I don't know what world you play Nasus into Azir. That seems really hard with all the tools that Azir has in his kit to keep himself safe. Um, kind of going deeper into the rest of this draft here. Um, CLT, I'll kind of lean on you in this one. I know we've seen Ziggs into Azir now a couple times, and I think we could agree that at least it certainly should be technically Ziggs favored, but it seems like the Azir has been coming out on top a lot lately. Is there any particular reason to that, or is it just how the cookie crumbles sometimes?
I mean, Ziggs is probably the least safest of the artillery mages, giving Vel'Koz and Xerath into that group, to where Azir has ways of getting ahead and kind of going poke for poke, and then it just comes down to which jungler comes first. So Ziggs, yes, can push in Azir, but unless he's babysat, Azir still has decent enough wave clear early enough in the game that Ziggs isn't going to get a passive stack off on the turret, or not enough to really like get the plates down into satchel range. That's why you're seeing a lot of like Korean Ziggs um, start putting points in the W just to expand that threshold a little bit early in the game. But into like Wukong, Xin Zhao, that's Ziggs is not going to help that matchup as much as say Azir will, because Wukong can create a lot more space in the 2v2. So it is a counter. It is annoying for Azir's, but I think it's to the point where Ziggs is hard to play and execute, and Azir, people are starting to learn Azir a la like a Lee Sin jungle. Like he's been in the game long enough that you can pilot it in a good, respectable manner.
Makes sense. So in this game, is there anything particularly that kind of stuck out to you from Hashira's side, Arctic? Like as far as
Um,
gameplay goes.
yeah, I'm trying to remember this one. I feel like this was, I mean, because all three games, credit to Hashira, they played like pretty solid just all the way through. I mean, the games were long and for good reason. They played well. I don't know that there was like, I'm trying to remember, and I'm like skipping through in my own here thing here. If there was like one big moment in this game that felt like a massive, yeah, moment, but no, I mean like we made some mistakes, they made some mistakes. I think that like the dragon stacking helped us a lot. Um, because was this the one that they came back and got a bunch of drags too? Or did we just get
That's a great
three
question.
and out or like straight to soul? Let me see. No, we just got soul in this one. Yeah, like it felt very, methodical. I think that it's funny. I'm like trying to remember the elements of this game. I haven't like been watching the VODs or anything, but um yeah, I don't think it was anything too crazy, which I think is like, that's a lot of how we it was funny is like matching up against other teams in this league. I think that a lot of teams in this league have some like crazy whatever. I mean, like I'm looking at Coin Flip. We love them, but their whole vibe is like, what's this insane pick that we can play that just turns the game on its head? And I feel like we're just like we just want to play fundamental league, and and so when a game like this happens and it's just quiet and works, like that's exactly where we want to be. Um, but so yeah, I think like given that this one went the way that we wanted to go, there wasn't like some massive moment, if that makes sense, you know?
No, I get you. I would definitely agree on your idea of your own play style. You guys definitely do play a slower, methodical gameplay. Like it's just the standard League of Legends. I've said that for what 3, 4 splits, however long you guys have been with us now. I can't even keep track anymore.
Yeah, three.
Three. Okay, yeah, three. So that definitely has not changed any bit there. I think the only difference from probably the first split to now, and I don't know if you would agree with this, but I think your guys' play hasn't been as high as it has been in the past, like peak play, but it's still been very clean. You know,
Yeah,
that's probably the only change. And I don't know if that's just like sometimes you play a lot of League of Legends, you get tired. I mean, you play for a whole year straight basically with a couple months off. That's a lot of games, and you guys have been going to deep into the playoffs in these runs, so
yeah,
it starts to wear you down a bit. Um, with that
yeah.
with that said, CLT, is there anything in particular you kind of see in this game that you wanted to point out?
Mm, I think for me, though, the big thing from what I could take away from this game was there wasn't enough dive to really pressure the Azir. And I mean, you guys have always fundamentally played around Good Boy um, well, and the fact that he had Azir and you have Nasus Zinzao walking at you,
Yeah.
it's kind of they're two champions that are pretty easy to peel, in my opinion. It's not like a Vi or a Malphite per se, where one button and you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Uh, so you guys had the ability to create a lot of space here, and the Yanara, while able to fight back on the counter engages, it doesn't provide a big enough punch, and the Ziggs just wasn't ahead enough to create the space needed. So
Yeah, I think that's the exact read, right? Like late game, Sivir Azir with Ornn frontline is going to be like way more sturdy than like the Nasus Jinzao frontline with Ziggs Yunara on the back, right? And so like I think exactly that, right? But also there was your point about the three splits we've played. Yeah, like I think you're kind of spot on. Like just some behind the scenes is the first split, like last year basically, was we were all coming out of like basically retirement to play comp again together, and so we were definitely like finding our footing. I think the last split we were very locked in, and it was like it was tough how it ended. Obviously, we were really feeling like we were clicking. This split has been tough because I think that a lot of like life is just starting to pull us all in different directions, so we haven't been able to play as much. And you're right, it shows. But what's cool, I think, is that we've really all just we're like selling out for these last couple weeks. We're gonna try to like put our best gameplay forward, and hopefully you know, hopefully we bring it home this time. But there's good teams left, so we're gonna do our best. Acknowledging that like you're right. This has not been the easiest split to like put together the amount of practice that we wanted to, but that's life. So
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm just gonna kind of show the viewers here the end of the game real quick, and then we can jump into game two. Uh,
sure.
but yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It's always hard. I mean, I think pretty much anybody playing in this league, and a lot of people I've met are usually around between the ages of like 22 and 30. So most of them aren't kids in school, that are like in high school with that nothing to do. I don't think I've even
Yeah.
met a high school kid, to be honest with you, which they've been all pretty much maybe college, or they're in the workforce. There's no time to constantly play the game like you used to. And when you want to play competitively, which just scratches an itch for I know a lot of us, you want to be able to put those games in, but sometimes you just can't, and it really sucks because like if we just got a little more practice, a little more
Yeah.
time, we could turn this thing around. But even with that said, that's why this exists. It's still
Right.
fun and still a great time. So
Exactly.
we'll dive here into game two though,
Yeah.
and I'll lead off with you again as well. And this draft looking a little more spicier than the first one for sure.
Yeah.
What was kind of the uh, the breakdown here for game two?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that here, let me pull up the order of the draft first. I think that, again, we knew that there were going to be some uh picks traded. The Zaya first was definitely one of those like, okay, that sets a tone already, we felt, right? Where it's like, we can't play dive. Okay, cool. All good. Um, Picking the Jarvan, I think, was like to give us options to pin the Zaya and like kind of go in and out. Jarvan's just plug and play with a lot of comps, is kind of our read on it. Corki, similarly, very plug and play. Poppy and Ari, it starts to take shape. We weren't sure where the Poppy was going to go, to be fair. Makes Jarvan's life hard, but not impossible. And Ari's similarly flexible as a mid laner. So like I feel like this draft also wasn't like super committal either way. Um, and it ended up being pretty standard instinct fare again until my, R5 Aatrox pick. But the whole idea with that was like it's good into the Mordekaiser and I can play it weak side. And so it's like it was totally functional for the type of game that we thought we'd be playing. And yeah, so I don't know. Again, I feel like there's not this secret, okay, we were trying to trap them here, or we're trying to like put this big, whatever together. It's kind of like, you know, pick things that allow us to adapt and then hone in on a comp idea. And so here we had this like kind of very, again, team fight happy, comp that can make picks, has pretty good, engages between Jarvan and Nico, and then good follow up or Syndra stun, and then great follow up with Corki and Aatrox AoEs and whatnot. So like, yeah, nothing. There's no like, it's not rocket science. At least we don't overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah, no, and that's definitely very good. I am surprised that Akaza went with the Vi. It's not something I've seen him play a lot, and wouldn't be on the high order of things. CLT, do you remember a time Akaza's played Vi this split? I'm sure he has, but I don't recall. Like, does anything come to mind there?
No, doesn't. I don't remember him ever playing it, and it doesn't really feel like it is his kind of champion. Like he does like the brawl, and this team does, skirmish very well. But I don't. The Vi to me just doesn't speak like something he can do everything he wants to do on it. It's just very committal and one dimensional.
Yeah, it sticks out a lot, and I know the Vi Ari is a nice combo, but I mean there's still other things you can run that would work well with the Ari. Um,
Yeah.
it really sticks out to me, like just because him specifically like doesn't look like a pick for him. Was that something you guys were expecting him to pull out based on
Um,
what we recall, which is him not playing it? So I don't know if you guys saw some games of it.
yeah, so honestly, I think the bigger thought there was I know Avo plays it a ton, and so I wonder if it was just to sort of deny it off of him. Because with these four champs, like the Wukong, Jinzhou, Jarvan, Vi, those are like four staples for our guy Avo, right? Over the course of the split. So that's what my thought was because I agree comp wise for them, it seems like they've got like a couple different ideas going on, right? Like Zaya wants people to play into her. Vi Ari kind of wants to go forward. Poppy with the Hail of Blades especially wants to like find picks. So like, and then Mordekaiser kind of just like does his own thing, right? So I like and wants to play teams that are going to play into him too. So like I I think that individually a lot of their picks are pretty solid picks to be picking, but I think that like identity for the whole team wise, like we weren't 100% on them. So I don't know what the thought behind the Vi was other than to deny it off of Ava.
Yeah, and that would make more sense too. I could see that. Even though I feel like Avalon hasn't even played that much of it this split either.
It's banned every single
Is
series.
it bad?
Like,
I don't track
yeah,
the bans enough as I
yeah.
probably should, but yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, it's like the Vi and the Ivern are like the two that he basically just accepts that he won't be playing. But
I'm gonna be honest. I think Vi is a trap anyways. And I don't know if
Agreed.
this is revealing anything, and now CoinFlip won't ban it to get him to play it. I'm gonna be straight up. I think just don't play it. Like I think it's just a trap pick. I don't like it in general, even on like the people that are like really good on it. And I've seen Avalon enough of it to know he's definitely good at it. I'd rather
yeah,
just see other picks right now. If you want to slam like Vi maybe game 4, game 5, maybe, or if it's like a really really good Vi angle, like they're playing like Zeri and you just gotta like shut her down. But I don't know. This is just my kind of personal take on the pick. Enough of the picks. Though. I think I agree with
Mhm.
you. Definitely, it's pretty standard draft from both teams overall. It's nothing too crazy. I mean, we've seen all these picks throughout the split. But in this game, is there anything that you can recall from this game? Maybe early game, mid game, any time that kind of sticks out to you? Arctic.
Yeah, I mean, this game, I was having fun because I feel like I'm trying to beat some allegations here of not having a champ pool, and I like play the Aatrox well, you know. But no, I mean, like I think that this was another game where like, I have to give credit to like honestly, it's like all of the my other teammates is they're great at finding opportunities, and I think this was fun because like except for Eclipse, really, like we can all start a fight, kinda, right? I mean, honestly, Aatrox is like the worst at starting a fight, and I think that throughout this game there were like moments where everyone was doing something to get the ball rolling. I want to like go back a little bit. I didn't mean to like shit talk their drafting. I think that like Hashira like generally does very very well, and from what we scouted them, like they do very well to set themselves up for success. I just thought that this individual game was like not the perfect example of that. Like going to game three a tiny bit. I thought that was like a very very scary draft, and we could talk about that later. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I
yeah.
don't
So
think
no,
I don't think anything you said would even come off that way, and I don't
okay,
think they would feel that way
cool.
either. Also, at the end of the day, this show is also about critiquing, and I mean you've been on the end of it many times. I didn't even say
Right.
nothing about your missed Orinalty, but now that we're talking about it, I
Okay,
mean,
I can no, really, I tried to hit the Jins out and then I was like, shit, I missed. I need to walk back and go for the Bard. And then I was like, I didn't have enough move speed to get back there. So I was like, well, fuck, I look like an idiot.
yeah. But I mean like that's just a part of a
Yeah,
league. You make mistakes as a team, as a player,
right,
whether it's
right,
mechanical or you just outdraft yourself sometimes. But
right,
there are
right.
avenues where like the draft is given to you on a silver platter and then you still outdraft yourself. That's the problem I have, I think, sometimes.
Right.
But I mean, if they were trying to take the Vi away, like I get it. And they were like, well, what's the best you play with it? Vi Ari, just slam it. And
Yeah.
so like you kind of come to an understanding of like if that was the angle, it makes more sense. As far as bot lane, I mean, again, there's an argument to be made that Tenjin took the Poppy because Don Don and
Did
you
I
both
play it?
play it,
Yeah,
and I
right,
think
right.
Avo even plays a bit of it too. So like the idea is there. It's the problem is it's game two. You're down 1-0. Do you really want to play the long con and the drafting now?
Right,
Like I feel like
right.
that's a game one draft angle, if anything. But that's just neither here nor there at that point. Um, but yeah, so you continue with the game two that you're kind of talking about though. With is something anything I said anything that stuck out? I know you said you were having a lot of fun. Was there a play
Yeah.
that you got to make that really hyped you up?
Oh, yeah, no, for me it was the like, turning, I don't know. I was pretty ahead at the point, but under bot inner tower,
Got a
Mord
timestamp?
tried to I'm trying to look for it too.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm
inner
flipping
inner
through,
tower to
but
tier three.
it was at the tier two,
The tier
and it
two.
was like, I was holding it at low health against Mord, and I turned
23
I turned to
minutes.
fight. It's 23. Okay, I skipped
23
past it. That's
minutes
why I'm
roughly.
not finding it.
Okay.
If that's the one you're referring to, the 1v1.
I see.
I'll
Yeah, it was a 1v1 under tower,
Yeah,
but
that's
I don't
around
know. Yeah, yeah,
23,
this is it.
23:15.
I don't know. Like this was fun because I'm like proud of how I played this. I know Gyu was talking about having like a little bit of connection issues, and like I hate that for him because I've been on the other side of that. Like, but yeah, I don't know. Like it was just again like I've been proud of the fact that over this year I've pushed myself to expand my champ pool a lot, and being able to like do this kind of thing occasionally is like yeah, in that sense, I might have succeeded. But yeah, other than that, I mean, again, like, I credit to my teammates for picking great fights and like playing great league and, having us win through team play. Because, I don't know. It wasn't like it's funny. I think in the moment I thought it was way flashier than it was. It was kind of just like
No, that was that was that
yeah,
was
yeah.
nice. But you were kind of just getting the RNG Aatrox healing at certain points.
Well, no, you know what? I like, it wasn't completely RNG. Give me a
No, I
little
know.
bit of
I'm
credit.
sure. I'm sure you were
Um,
you were kiting around trying to wait for the healing and stuff, which makes
yeah, for the
sense.
passive to
Yeah,
come back up,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's how it works. But um, anyway, so yeah, stuff like that, right? Like I think overall though, another game that I can credit my team with, you know,
Yeah,
helping me help us to win.
yeah, you're just trying to give them all the credit. It's okay to take some credit, buddy. It's okay. Uh, CLT, is there anything here in this game too, like a moment that you've kind of been scrolling through that you found to be maybe the nail biter of the game, or just something that stuck out to you?
Um, there was a big turning point. Well, a big dragon fight that went Hashira's way that I thought got the momentum in their favor because they started
Yeah,
dragon stacking there. That was around the 25 and a half mark. Um, but
right.
overall, like I think you guys
Hmm.
settled down and played these team fights well. I know Deborah on the Zaya had I think a quadra kill in a Baron fight as well. Um, in there. So Hashira was putting up a fight. I just
Right.
comp for comp again, like you guys just have a lot more ways to react to them, and I think it showed once you guys didn't, play around the Zaya and you just locked in on her. But Don for
Yeah.
me was like kind of the hidden MVP. Maybe not
Yes.
that hidden. Um, because there's no other support player that has gravitated or shown the skill expressiveness on Nico support like Don has this split. I know he's played a few games of it, and he's just looked fantastic at it every time.
Yeah. No, I think that I mean that's spot on. Yeah. It's funny because like prompting me to remember bits of this game. Yeah, they did a fantastic job of fighting back in the mid game, and I agree that like late game, I think the comp identity thing helped us out a lot. But you're spot on too with Don Don. I mean, he like makes Nico look like it should be banned a lot more. He
Yeah,
like he loves it. He has fun with it, and I think it shows, right? And I think that that's when you like what you're playing, you tend to play it a lot better. And I can tell that like he likes, playing around with all of the options that champ gives him. So 100%.
Yeah, there's an idea that I think makes it really fun too. Is like fearless now. It makes it so like, well, are we gonna ban Don Don's Nico, right? But then like, well, maybe we have to ban Good Boys Azir, or maybe even your Orn, or maybe and you start going through these picks, right? And so you come to this realization you'll never be able to ban everything, and even if you ban
Yeah.
a pick one game, it might be up the next game. And I think that's what Fearless has opened up, and I think that's the coolest part about Fearless specifically isn't actually just the fact that we get different champions every game. It's the fact that the bans are going to have to eventually be different. They're just forced to be. Sure, you can maybe stick with a couple games with the same bans, and in some cases, if you're playing a 5 game series, you might just get lucky and you get a 3-0 and you don't got to worry about too much stuff. But usually, if you're going game 4, game 5, the bans are going to change because now you're like, man, if we drop this ban because we want to take one of our like premier picks that and they drop it like because they're dropping a ban now. They're like, we're gonna leave Good Boys up as here for game 5, and then you're like, well, now we gotta ban Poppy because we haven't picked Poppy this series or something. It's like
Right.
there are
Right.
so many different complexities to that where it makes it really fun. As far as that quadra kill, that was nasty from
Yeah,
Deborah.
I actually just watched it too. Like phenomenal by Deborah there. Like, yeah, I mean, look, they're great players, and like we knew that going in. Like we basically, I mean, game plan wise, we just knew we'd have to play rock solid and win through team play. And the one like other win con for us was just we knew Akaza is like quite the angle finder and playmaker for them, and that's like the scout that we heard from some other people in the league. And so like
Not us on the show, right?
no, I mean honestly, a coin flip. Thank you guys. But
okay.
now we'll see if they regret giving the advice or not. But but no, I mean, like yeah, I mean, and it's credit to him. He's put up a MVP level performance this year through doing that, and so we knew like you can't just walk in and be like, yeah, no, we'll be fine, right? Like you need to do something about it. And so being very, very cautious of that type of thing. But no, I mean, like anyway, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's fair. Uh, do they end up getting 3 Drakes on you guys in this game? Oh my
they
goodness, they
do.
do. Holy
Yep.
crap!
Yeah, they came right back to the brink, and then I think that it was I'm like looking. I think it was like a couple of good boy picks or Don Don picks or like, things like that that just gave us the angles to close it out. But no, it wasn't like this game. It was 42 minutes, right? Like this wasn't like a perfectly textbook clean win, right?
No,
Like
not at all.
they really fought like hell to pull it back.
Yeah, I mean, how do you and then we'll jump into game three. But how do
Yeah,
you mentally, as a player, when you're in a game like this and you have this, you guys got the Drake lead, everything's looking good. You guys, I didn't check the gold lead, but I'm sure it was 2 or 3K or something. It was a decent amount before that
yeah.
the fight they won to get their first Drake. How do you guys and you specifically kind of keep your head focused as the game feels like it's starting to slip away?
Um, yeah, so what's interesting is like I don't know that it felt like it was slipping away. I think that this one, like most of these, just felt like we were kind of like running into a wall and we couldn't figure out how to get around it. Like because there were a couple of fights where, we fought and we thought we were fighting pretty well, thought we were positioning pretty well. But I think that honestly, it's like our team, a lot of the time it's, good boy, but like plenty of the time it's Avo or Eclipse or Don Don or I, but like it just takes sort of refocusing around what the win con at that exact moment is. So like, leading up to a dragon fight, Avo might be like, all right, like, Arctic and I need to go for a flank. We got to just like set up for that. Or like Charles, sorry, good boy, will be like, play for my pick or something, whatever it is. We like what helps to refocus is picking what that win con is and then playing for it, right? Like set yourself a goalpost. Because if you're just like, okay, yeah, try to win, it's very hard to feel it out. But something like, okay, like these two players need to look for a flank and the other three just need to play slow until they get into position. Like that's actionable, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, and just casual name drop. He totally makes sense that he's a Charles, by the way. I could totally see
sorry, that's we like
that. it's
yeah.
it's
It's
over
funny how
with now.
different people in the server go by different, like I don't go by my actual name, but like they've called me Arctic since the beginning. And actually I guess of this team he's the only one, but like we have some people in the larger circle who like go by their name now, rather than like the tag. But
Yeah.
anyway,
No, it's it's a part of a team environment. You've been around
right.
together long enough. You get to know each other, right? So,
Yeah.
but I just found it funny because I'm like that dude is
Yeah,
totally
I'm
it's
sorry.
totally a Charles, you know. Like he gives off that vibe from talking to him. All right, let's get into game three, shall we?
Yeah.
And so what happened here in game three, man? Tell me about game three.
Yeah. About this. So I think that comp wise, I don't think that we had anything that was like, again, too crazy. Like I like playing the Mbessa. We picked a lot of stuff that we like. We kind of felt like we had this, dive comp now that the Zaya was gone. Some of the things that they had picked kind of showed it. And then Heimerdinger threw a wrench in it, but right, like he like makes it really hard to dive and was a really good pick for the team comp. I was mentioning this to CLT. I think lane wise. And I want this to be taken as a massive compliment to Giyu because I honestly don't think that Mbessa into Heimer is nearly as horrible as it looked. I think that I played it poorly and he played it well. Because I do think that there comes a point where if Heimerdinger, because Heimerdinger has to push, if he dies to even like a gank and Mbessa stays a little bit more even, that trades go a little bit Mbessa favored, and you know Mbessa will be able to just kill the Heimerdinger before the Heimerdinger can like do much. Because generally, how it plays out, right, is Heimer has to wait for the most part until Mbessa has burned a lot of her jumps to land the grenade, and there comes a point where like you're just dead by that point, or very, very, very close to it, and so I think that he was hitting me from a distance with grenades that I was not expecting, which made it impossible for me to take any of the trades, right? So like I don't think that that was actually like the disaster part of that lane. Um, Later in the game, I think that it really was like this was one of those we need to find flanks and we need to try to like separate the fight a little bit. because of the fact that if we just played into a bunch of Caitlyn traps and Heimerdinger and Victor, Storm, we're gonna die, right? So I think that as the game progressed, we started to pull me and Avo around for flanking positions, and we had this great opportunity to kind of cross up fights by Kai'Sa can ult across to the Ambessa, and Ambessa can ult across to the Kai'Sa, and you can kind of play whatever direction you want, but the other team has to respect that you're coming in from two sides. So comp wise, as the game progressed, like that was what we were thinking about. But yeah, no, it made it fucking hard because ultimately you want to come in on the middle, regardless of which side you come in from. And the champs that they were playing were like very, very good. So I honestly, they did phenomenally well in draft this time around. And I think that like it was some lane leads that let us, carry through to a win in this one more than a comp diff.
Yeah. Yeah, CLT, I already know you got stuff to say. I can hear it from
Take it away.
two states away. Go ahead, buddy.
What? I mean, yeah, dude, he dropped the donger out on this one. The only thing that like, first of all, I'm still amazed that like you just dropped this Heimerdinger pick out of the middle of nowhere, and you dropped it in a really good spot. The only thing looking back at this game, now that I've had a chance to like process it, I wish the Volley Bear and Thresh went just way tankier builds, just because Heimer's getting fed and he's like the linchpin in the comp to like stop you guys from being proactive, and they just could not create enough space, or more importantly enough time, for this Heimerdinger to get moving in these late game team fights.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think that the problem with their comp was that they didn't have any real go button. Like it was like Thresh Hook, right? Or Volibear runs at you. But there wasn't a way to, if they like took a lead, to press an advantage, or if we kind of like made a half botch engage, they couldn't really like chase us, especially with the Orianna. But
See, like I hear you there, but looking at what you guys are doing, like Nautilus and Bessa being buffed up by Orianna and then Kai'Sa trying to dive the back line, I don't think they
yeah,
needed a go button. Like it's on
yeah,
you guys to play the game out, the way your comp wants to play, because if not, they can stall with Victor, Caitlyn zone control, Heimer wave clear, and zone control as well. I just I
yeah.
don't.
No, that's fair. I just like I'm trying to remember
I just don't like
exactly,
this
but
volley bear.
yeah,
You don't like
Just
the
don't.
volley bear? I
No,
I I I, I don't hate it.
looking. I don't hate it either, because that is their style. Is they want to have enough buttons to throw back and react to it. They did great in the coin flip series. They did great in this series being reactionary. But I,
Okay, so
you're just not tanky enough.
here's my theory that I have for you, and you're not going to be tanky at all this game. There's a trundle. Here's my theory that I've crafted after seeing these two comps, and I think Arctic already said it best. If you get to the mid late game and you start having to contest all these objectives as instinct here, it's so hard if you can't get like the perfect flank setups, because you're walking into turrets, you're walking into traps, and like you said, I think it's called the gravity field, I believe, right? The W. You're walking into
Yeah.
that. Like there is so much
no, there's a million
control.
things you can't walk into. Yeah,
Yes, and then you still have to worry about Thresh. Now, yeah,
yeah,
Nautilus counters Thresh technically, and that's like a lane counter, but like it doesn't really matter that much. Once that setup comes, like there's so much defensive tools and control over these pockets on the map that it should be almost impossible for them to play the game. So then you just kind of take a Volley Bear and say, hey, Volley, here's your one job. Literally, this is Volley Bear's one job. They're going to walk into us. You just continue to create more space. You just go on to somebody. So, like, it might literally just be the Orianna that he's going on to, but if that's the person he's targeting and making it hard for her to get good ball setups because of it, and maybe even forcing her to ult defensively just the Volley Bear, that's great.
Hmm.
Because the way the
Yeah.
fight's going to come out is, in theory, at this point, it's going to be really hard to one shot. because you need the Ori ball set up, right? And then you're hoping that Eclipse can get him into the back line with the Mbessa off on like a nice Mbessa engage or something. Trundle is he's not really gonna hard flank. I mean, he's just gonna walk at them, but like he's still gonna do that and throw it on a pillar, of course. But like you see the point there. So to me, I think the Developer's just fine. He's good at creating space. That's exactly what his champion does, very very well. He's dive in space. I have no problem with it. My problem is just realistically, what do you do in the earlier parts of the game? Because I think like except for getting some control top side of the map, like can you get to these objectives in time in the earlier part of the game where they're not able to stack drakes? And from what I've seen so far, that's not happening. Right, they're not able to stack drakes on the side of instinct, but that'd be my only concern. If you can get through that part of the game, you should be in the front runner seat around 25-30 minutes of the game.
Yeah. I got to go in just a moment, but yeah, I mean, I think that this one was definitely like both teams had very, 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 very clear things about what they wanted to do, and like it just came down to like we got to do what we wanted to do, maybe like a couple more times than they did. Right? Like it was not, some massive difference. It was just kind of like, there were a couple of fights where we got a pick or two. There were a couple of moments where we like, you know, split the fight a little bit more than they maybe would have wanted or got a good shockwave or whatever, right? But yeah, it was not the biggest, most clean cut thing ever. But
Yeah, I'm actually watching this this one right real quick at I think it's Drake 4, their third Drake of the game. You guys
sure.
trying desperately to make the plays happen and just getting absolutely demolished for it. I think that is that another quadra kill? No, it's just a triple kill for Depa there. But you have this huge strap line. You can literally not walk in a river. You're like Nautilus, go tank it, Don, take the shots for us, please. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Uh, but yeah, no, so I mean, it was a super fun series, right? Like you know, huge credit to them. Made it competitive, and I said it in the chat, but like that was not a 3-0 series in like I mean it was like a bunch of 60-40s maybe that fell our way or like 55-45s that fell our way, right? Like it was not at all like this massive skill gap. I mean, honestly, it's probably tighter than that. It was basically like 50-50s that like we got, you know, a couple of little edges in. And yeah, they very easily could have gone the other way. So
So what you're saying is you were coin
yeah,
flipping.
yeah, a little foreshadowing for you there, huh?
uh,
Um, yeah, but no, I mean like that, just to give you a little bit of a sound bite on that before I go. Like I'm excited for this because like I said, we've played them a lot. We love these guys. And it's gonna be, I think the drafts this series are gonna be a lot of fun because there's gonna be a lot of like, traps and counters and weird shit gets pulled out. And so I think this is gonna be like, and what's cool is on top of the fact that that's just how they like to play it, knowing them and them knowing us is gonna make these like, it's gonna be like 4D chess, in draft. We're gonna be trying to play it at least, and hopefully we're not gonna be like both playing checkers, but it's gonna be a lot of fun to navigate this stuff. So
also, crazy Eclipse engage at the end of the game. By the way, he just casually ults in, and good boy's like, "Here
yeah,
you go, have a shockwave."
right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody thinks about Nocturne and like
yeah, but they don't know.
Vi.
They don't know the
They don't know about the
Kai'Sa.
Kaisa ball delivery system.
So, well, thank you for coming on the show, Arthur. It was nice to finally have you on, and hopefully we
Yeah.
can continue to get members from your team on over the next coming splits. Maybe even this split, we'll see. Not
Yeah.
that I won't allow people on if the team's lost. I'm glad to have people on even after a loss. But yeah, thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed your time on the show, and I'm
For
looking forward
sure.
to you guys playing this
Definitely did.
Saturday.
All right. Yeah. See you guys then.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. All right, CLT. Well, I was gonna say I think the biggest thing that I've taken away from Hashira's split is that they're a much improved team. Unfortunately, they weren't able to edge out anybody here, but I think Uh, this is probably the best, like being as they put it. They got 6-0, right? This is the best 6-0 scenario you can have. You guys looked very competitive. You looked strong. You did not look like a team that just laid down in any way in any 6 of those games. So to me, it's just like you guys got another step to overcome. There's something else you guys got to step over. You guys haven't gotten there yet. But hopefully next split that'll be you guys starting to win some of these games and pushing these teams and maybe even finding yourselves in the finals. So
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it again. It's a really good group of guys. I'm thankful they let me sub with them and got to know them a little bit. But the sky's the limit. They are not afraid to fight and brawl. But Gyomie, especially in the mid lane, just completely like 180'd his champion pool. He's going mage v mage against guys like Rurika and Good Boy, and holding his own and performing well, and the rest of the team continues to improve. So I'm super excited to see them. The more they play, the better they're just going to get, and I think they easily solidified themselves as being the third best team to split. Or
yeah,
I'm sorry, fourth.
I would say I think it's fourth. But
Yeah,
yeah, hey,
my
maybe
bad.
maybe they are the third best team. They just got unlucky. I don't know, but no, they definitely solidified as the fourth without question there. With that said, though, let's jump into the next series here. We're gonna have ourselves a fun one between Femboy Jellyfish and Coin Flip on the winner bracket finals. So yeah, game one. I know that you did not technically cast this series. You more just were engineering on the backside, right? For the most part.
Yep.
But you did get to watch the games. So I want you to go ahead and lead us off here for game one and kind of give us some details about this first game.
Yeah, I think game one, I felt like they kind of set a little bit of a trap for coin flip. They left the Ivern open, they left the Anivia open, they left Jax open. A lot of picks that coin flip loves to gravitate towards, and Rurika set the tone early with this Lux counter pick and getting even a solo kill in lane early. Uh, was, I think, how we expected this to go. Higgins, I think they set him up on a really nice blitzcrank game, and he performed insanely well in this. Every time we panned down to the bot lane, it felt like he was always hitting these hooks and getting his team in a winning position to start the fight.
Yeah. If I was casting this Higgins, by the way, I would actually like this blitzcrank angle. So I like
Yeah.
it against the bot lane, and I do like it with an Ivern in the game. Jax, you're not really looking to pull him ever. And Nivea, if you can get a grab, it's not the easiest. But I like it. It's a lot of low mobility picks. There's no spell shields in the game you got to worry about. And if you're gonna land a hook and you force out the Xayah ulti, like you're not even upset about that. So, uh, if I was watching this game, I would have been loving the pick for once. So, but again, I'm clarifying. I've never ever said that your Blitzcrank isn't good. Your Blitzcrank is good. Your hook champions are great. Just because I don't like a pick doesn't mean that you're bad at it. So, um, just gotta put that out there. But yeah. So what kind of felt like something that kind of broke up in this game early on here? Was it just that Lux solo kill, or was it something else in particular that kind of started
uh,
to break way for Femboys?
I mean, I don't quite remember like the exact moment, but Femboys just all across the map were getting exactly what they wanted with little to no issues whatsoever, and it just started to snowball leads from there. They ended up dragon stacking quite well. Coinflip, I mean, did have some moments where they fought back. There was a nice TP in the bot lane from Arresto, and between him and Brandino pulling turning around a gank, getting 2 kills in the bot side early in the game, around the 9.5 minute mark, was really nice. But again, it started from the laning phase, and coin flip, while they do love to fight, Ivern plus Jax plus Anivia topside, that is a very slow and just scaling type of trio there on top of a crit ADC. Like coin flip plays these fights really well, but I just don't think their champions together fit their play style. They're all amazing at these champions, but they just need something else to supplement some of this early game fighting, whether that been a Nivea plus like a Jarvan or a Vi or something that's okay with fighting early and creating CC opportunities for a Nivea to chain, or go the Ivern with something like a Xin Zhao and a more scaling crit based AD carry like a Jinx or something, Jinx Zeri in the bot lane, to where he has targets to buff and shield and everything.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think like you said, like there's a lot of difficulty stopping what they want to do on the top side, on the side of Femboy Jellyfish. The one thing nice I will say though is that Jinzao has a hard time playing in the Jax, so that's just a really smart pick here by Brandino. Funny enough, like Jax jungle again, I've pointed out a couple times, is not very much a big pick these days. Brandino's been playing it well, but for him to be able to pull a champion from the top lane into the jungle and get a good value from it, this is kind of the pick right here. It makes Jinzo's life pretty hard. He can't really 1v1 Jax ever, because of the way Counter Strike works and how Jinzo's kit works. So it's definitely pretty strong there. But other than that, Anivia Ivered into Lux, Aatrox seems pretty abysmal to play into until you get to your items.
It's not fun as the resident Anivia player here. Like, it's a good Lux, it's not fun. And also, Anivia in the Aatrox feels like complete ass, because in the middle of a team fight, Aatrox's Q2 has such a sweep angle that matches a lot of your Storm and your E range that you just randomly get knocked up and your Storm falls. That's not a fun part of it either. Plus Blitzcrank silence and pulls, it wasn't. It felt like overall Femboy Jellyfish laid a trap in this draft, and they punished it quite well.
When I'm recording these things, I cannot be typing to people's CLT because, man, I have a habit of kicking one of my wrong buttons, and all of a sudden I flip to something else. No worries, my voice wasn't lost at all. It's just funny. I keep doing it on accident for like a split second, and I check it, and I go, oh yeah, by the way. Anyways, though, and that's why this show is never going to be a hit show, because I am so bad at being the engineer, producer, whatever you want to call me, and the host at the same time. It's just too much for my brain cells. I should stop messaging people while I'm middle of the series we're talking about.
Yeah.
Bad, Jake. Bad. You're grounded from everything in life. But yeah, I mean, another hard part here is like you get Ocean Soul too as the game progresses. Like, does the Anivia or Ivern picks get to scale to where they want? I mean, even the Zyronata, like, do you ever get to scale to where you want to be? Like, you have to be able to contest some of these Drakes early on. I know that Coinflip tried to do so, but you just got to be able to get at least one of them, just to push the game maybe to closer to 30 minutes. Because, like, what you want to do when you're a team that is the team that kind of scales more, they can't really fight as much early. You specifically want a situation where, at worst case scenario, you're down 3 Drakes to 1, and Soul is being traded for Baron, maybe, right? Or like you can get a Drake, but they get Baron, like worst case scenario. Like there's some sort of trade, or if it's not being traded in that circumstance to kind of gain something back, it's the fact that there's offsetting on the Drake timer and the Baron timer. That's also the hope there too. Also, nice quadra kill here by who else? But Angel Boy, aka Mac. How many quadra kills has he had this split, man? I think he's had like 7 of these things, bro. Like he's gotta have a historic number here in Midwest. It's been insane, bro. I swear I've casted at least 2 or 3 of his quadra kills, and I've seen a couple others on the side. So I don't know, this is getting out of hand. and multiple Kaisa ones too. This guy in Kaisa is just not even fair.
Yeah, him. I know it's a denial pick because Bori plays a very, very mean Kaisa. But yeah, both these guys I would not want to see on Kaisa,
I
and
I
they
would
play the champs really well.
I would make an argument if Coin Flip makes it to grand finals that you don't even flip the Kaisa at all. You either just ban it, because or you just go to take it game one and just say slam it first pick, ban Ash and hope for the best because, geez Louise, man, this guy Kaisa and Ash are the two champions I see him on. They're just disgusting. Not that he can't play other carries, but those two champions specifically, Mac on those are freaking, I don't know, man. He's a god on those two picks. I clicked the wrong thing. I wanted to go here. All right. Well, we'll jump here into game two. I'm just going to kind of look at the raw stats here and kind of get an idea of what happened myself. Marika on the Vladimir. We haven't seen his Vlad in a while, but holy moly, 36% of his team's damage, 30k damage total in the game. That is a lot. Pretty much nobody else on the team came even close to what he did. He did a lot of work here. On the other side of things, Bori locking in this Varus. He did not go that Varus build we were seeing a lot of with the what's that item called? CLT. The
hex plate.
Yeah, experimental hex plate. Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't see. He's not going that build. Yeah, I guess he's back to normal Varus builds. I don't know. Yeah, I mean that doesn't really like the comp that Coin Flip drafted was that bad, but they did knock it off the ground, and this Vlad got two fed. The problem is I don't know if they have they could deal with this Vlad though. I don't know if their comp does very well.
I agree.
As a totality as a champion. So, what's your kind of take here in game two?
I agreed with you. I kind of spoke up a little bit in the draft because they were unsure of the matchup. I mean, Arresto in that like level 5 to 8 range and like a deeper laning phase, Syndra can push Vlad back and burst him down, which actually I think he got even a solo kill in this game. But yeah, once this Vladimir starts to like play out these 5v5s, there's not much you can do to stop him. I know in theory there's Pantheon stun chained into Syndra or Nautilus with some grievous wounds coming out from Bori's E when he lays it on the field, but it's just that's such a hard combo to just play out in the moment. That the moment you see the Pantheon stun get used, then Vladimir just has free reign to do whatever he wants. I mean, Verisol's kind of in there too, but again, it's such a slow projectile, and someone who's got a reaction time like Rurika, um, he's kind of expecting it. But also, even if we look at this as like, okay, they get a kill or two on Vlad and he's behind, this Malphite still can't really respond to him in a side lane either. So I thought it's a very unique pick and a very good spot.
Yeah, it's definitely different too. Like you said, unique in that aspect, but it it gained subtraction in this game, that's for sure. And I don't expect him to be picking it in the grand finals unless it's a good spot, just because the nature of the champion. But if it's open, it's there, and Anivia's off the table, which I know isn't that like one of his hardest counters, right? It's Anivia. I think Vlad will be a happy pickup there for Eureka. On the other side of things, even looking at it from the aspect of like it's hard to deal with this Vlad, and there's a lot of stuns. Even if you deal with this Vlad and you pour everything into him to kill him before like fights break out, you have nothing left to really deal with now with the Yunara Wukong combo, and that's the other aspect of it. Like, so you're really put in a weird spot. Like, I almost think, and Bori is. I'm not really trying to question Bori's decision on the build he went, but I almost think on Hitch is better here. I think
I don't disagree. Yeah.
I think you have a mid range 80 carry, and then the rest of the team is just mid to basically on top of your face is their range, right? You might pop in a lot of circumstances, but you could get so much damage off in a lot of other circumstances, once you like, if you have your flash up, you flash the initial Wukong engage, and then you'll just turn and start pouring damage out. Like stuff like that could mean the difference between winning and losing a fight. Because if you get enough DPS, the Syndra Pantheon Malphite can finish carrying a fight, even with you dead. Um, but when you're playing this kind of poke style Varus pick, you're relying on being able to poke them down and then looking to engage. But I just don't see if you ever get that opportunity to do.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's really my only take from the overall comp is just like I just don't think they have enough damage to get through everything around them once they blow that Vlad up.
Yeah, I do like the build that came out of Noah here, going more of a tankier Jace type of setup.
I mean, it's back to mid-season Jace, you know. Like I think that's generally what you still see from him. You know, he's not picked much competitively anymore, but I mean, I don't think he's a horrible champion. It's just the tank Jace isn't as prevalent as it once was, um, as a pick compared to other maybe tankier tops you could go with. Uh, you're in a Malphite. I think you being squishy in a Malphite is probably just not good for you because then it's becomes more obnoxious to side lane because contrary to belief, Malphite does a decent amount of damage even when he's tanky, and if he's playing that into a champion that's literally just AD, they can't play the game right. It's just unplayable. But if you're a tank Jace, like I think you're fine. It's harder to run you down, so you can play side lanes just fine.
Yeah, well, Malphite's always been kind of a legacy answer towards Jace,
Yeah,
especially the damage variant. So him pivoting to tank, I thought was a really slick, really wise move there.
yeah, no, it's definitely very very smart. What was kind of what kind of broke this game open here, CLT?
Um, I'm trying to remember this game on a deeper level. I think there was. Let me go back and check. There was a big, excuse me, a big jungle fight around. Let's see, is this it? Yeah, there was a decent jungle fight around like the 20-minute mark where coin flip left them pretty bloody, but didn't really net much of kills there. Yeah, this one where Noah just kind of face tanked a majority of the team and allowed them to dive under turret, and then they got Rurika really, really low, but he ended up not falling down, so it ended up being, kind of a 4-for-1.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, 4-for-1
I'm
on
going
it.
a little back. I kind of saw the back end of it where they were diving them. Rika living on 1 HP. So sad. Also, the start of the fight is them trying to find a pick on the Vlad, and poor Brandino just could not get in range. He's flashing, he's eating, he's trying everything
Yeah.
off the Pantheon ult, but it just cannot do it. It's pretty
Yep.
unfortunate there. And the fight
Yeah.
just kind of breaks out, and it's kind of haywire.
Yeah. I think Vladimir honestly has one of the unhealthiest kits in the game. The champion is just. I hate that champion.
Yeah, I don't know if
So.
I'd say the most unhealthy kit, but I do think I do think it's obnoxious to play against. I think champions like him and Swain, like these drain tank type champions, they're not fun for the person that's playing into them, but they're fun for the person playing as them. And I would even argue like Silas kind of falls in that same ballpark. He still kind of does that drain
Yeah.
tank thing. Aatrox, like they're just. It's like, oh, we're gonna kill them. But no, we're not because they're gonna ultra heal. And then you're like, oh, but wait, we could buy Grievous Wounds. Then you realize, oh, Grievous Wounds matters nothing these days. So, all right, but like, then there's the counter argument. Like, a lot of these champions need time to get off the ground. And the reason why the Vlad, the Swains, um, and a little bit of the Silas, though Silas is at least more meta than those two picks. The reason why they're not picked is because they need time to get off the ground. And it's so hard against these current meta champions from jungle mid. So it's just like there are like ways to play around them, but it does feel horrible always as the player playing into it.
For me, the biggest difference with Vladimir compared to some of the other like drain tank dichotomy of champions is the invulnerability. Like if you ever get him low, he feels like he's impossible to dive because of the invulnerability. Yes, it has a long cooldown, but the game is so fast paced that he's dodging 1, 2, maybe 3 like really important abilities in the mid game, and he's just fucking annoying.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So
I can hear your frustrations, man.
I don't like that champion. I had this argument with Salt.
I just started with Salt. Yo,
Yeah,
Salt, where you at, man? Come back, by the way.
yo, Salt's Vladimir's goaded, but I know his thing was like, well, you play a Nivea, and I was like, okay, we both scale, and if my team doesn't draft enough CC, sorry, I lose. you know?
Sorry, I lose. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that was a sorry I lose angle there for coin flip, but not game 3. They said you got to call an ambulance, but not for me moment right here. I remember watching a bit of this game 3, and it was a really fun game 3. First off the bat, and I think we got to get this out of the room. Like you know, it's the Mordekaiser mid. There's a lot of memeing in the chat about it. I know. Um, I would really love to know specifically why Rurika went this. I know he kind of said something about like the something made me do it type thing. You know, I was just like my mind was telling me this, but I'm like, just no, pick Mordekaiser. Um, so I am intrigued. I could see kind of being okay into Swain. Like I could see that kind of working, but otherwise, I don't know. You're into your four bruiser slash whatever you want to call Thresh in their circumstance champions into a Tristana Swain. I just don't know if that's the world you want to be in. Yeah, sure you have Vayne and maybe Angel Boy goes off on the Vayne, but I, it's Vayne, man. It's Vayne. Can we stop picking Vayne? Are we gonna keep picking Vayne, or what are we doing?
So like I don't I have I'm looking at this the other way.
Okay, I'm
Um,
listening.
like I love the Mordekaiser pick because Swain the way his drain tank works on the ult is you have to be around more champions. So you isolate him. He brought the ignite, so he's never really going. Swain is never going to do anything in the Mordekaiser, especially with the lead that he got. The the thing that was like just super annoying is then you picked an AD that is also like within Swain's range, but then you have Mbessa, you have Zac, you have Leona. Like if you have to change one of two things out of this draft, you either get rid of the Mordekaiser, which I kind of like in the grand scheme of things, or you get rid of the Vayne. But both of them together, there's just like Vayne wants to shoot the thing closest to her, and Mordekaiser wants to get rid of the thing closest to his carry and to threaten as well. It's it
I
was
don't
a little
know.
bit of anti-synergy.
It's still Tristana Swain. You know what? You want to bring up the other picks? It's still Tristana Swain, Zach Leona. Mbessa's whatever. Mbessa really her target should just theoretically be Vayne every fight. I think you're okay with jumping on Vi, but like, eh, bro, I don't know, man. You do not want to be dealing with those champions as those 4 champions. You know, Thresh has some counter where he can, you know, flay the Zac out of his E. I mean, you can even flay Leona out of her E too. So you want to go in that ballpark? Sure, we can have that conversation, but they don't have to engage. They have to wait for you to engage, then counter engage and peel. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. But the other part
I
of
mean,
it too is it's a coin flip draft. I think coin flip got what they wanted. You let them have basically almost all their champions here.
yeah, the memeing behind this draft was Rurika said he was picking ranged, and then he didn't. Like yeah, if you go and watch the interview, yeah, Higgins was low key flaming his mid because they went into the draft with I'm picking this, or at least I'm going this direction, and Mariga just decided to mess it up.
Yes. He's like, I'm
So
gonna get scoped weapons and scope your weapons. I swear it's playable.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it looked very playable at the beginning. He got a really good ult, and he just overall he played it well. I don't know, like the Mordekaiser Vi is an interesting like 2v2 duo. Did not think I was going to be talking about that this split. As far as the mid lane, but yeah, it's just overall your comp is so short range that if Swain doesn't die, which getting the Shirelias in the mid game was pretty slick by Arresto. Um,
I mean,
then I
he's
think
the
he's cool.
premier Spain player in the league at this point. Nobody else even plays this champion really. Um, and the thing
Yeah,
is, as I say that, like I haven't even seen enough of his Swain over the last what 4 or 5 splits they've been in our league. Like I haven't even seen enough of it to be like, oh man, yeah, here comes his Swain. And I don't mean that in a mean way, Aristotle. By the way, it's just like it is banned against you a decent amount, and I will give credit there. But a lot of times, like you don't end up getting it just because you don't even pick it yourself, even when you have angles. So recently he's been picking in. I think it's because it's playoffs and it's like it's open. I just should take it. It's my champion. But yeah, it's not something. It's just something that I found funny. But nobody else really plays Swain. It's just, and it's the same reason we were talking about the Vlad thing. It really doesn't have that many crazy good spots anymore. So, but he plays it. He plays it well, and I understand why he wants to play it. And um, play with you're comfortable on. That's the first and foremost thing about really any league. Luckily, none of us are pro players that have to play like 30 champions, but even then, they will get comfort picks, right? So in certain spots.
yep, for sure. This was a really good showing by Coin Flip here.
Yeah, and I think Matthias pulling out the Zach top. We haven't seen that in a while from him. I like that. It's definitely different. It's not gonna do too much into Renekton. Like I don't expect it to really be able to 1v1 him, but it's another nice wrinkle. And in coin flip, as our friend Arctic already talked about, this is what they're good at. They're good at drafting different, unique picks that will throw off what you expect to do in your draft. And anytime you think they don't have an angle for something new, you're like, oh, I got them. I've got them red. They're not gonna do this. They'll pull out Sejuani plus Nyla bot lane, right? Like, and they're like, Geoprow's like never played this pick. What is happening? But that's just their wrinkles. They always have something up their sleeve, even if it's only one thing in an entire series. Eventually, it will catch you off guard.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there anything in this game that you remember kind of like breaking this game a bit? I think really it was just kind of like these mid game fights, right around like the 14, 15 minute mark where Tristana started showing up, putting out DPS, and like you said, the Swain having the Shirelias, and they just couldn't kill anybody anymore on the side of Femboys.
Um, I'm trying. There was a decent like lower jungle fight. I think it was during the posture for Dragon, um, where I I remember. You know what? I think here's kind of the straw that broke the camel's back was this Soul Point Dragon fight here around the 28-minute mark where they caught Rurika out, CC chained him and took him down pretty quickly. But then if you watch at like how much space Arresto created for Bori that he could free fire in this fight, and the Zanyas too, or I'm sorry, it was the Seekers at the time, came out and created a lot of space here. So um, that coupled then into getting the soul. Like Swain is one of the greatest users of Ocean Soul, and probably second or at least third on that list is Zach. So the fact that they rolled this Ocean Soul, they felt great about it and got it. It made it really really hard.
Yeah, I noticed too. Like they actually had meaningful gold leads on coin flip sides at different points of the game. Like 15 minutes, they were up like 5K or something. Like they definitely we're snowballing this game a bit, and um, like you said, I mean, yeah, the Mordekaiser got a bit of an early lead, but again, there's just so much that they had to play around that. And it kind of came to a point where it's like, do you even want to ult this win out of the fights, or do you just want to try to like maybe kill like the Imbessa or something? I don't know, man. Like, what is your angle? Like, who do you actually take out of the fights that's meaningful enough um, to matter? Because I think there's always something, unless you're maybe pulling Trist out. There's always something that can kind of deal with the rest of the team on Femboy's side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember seeing that pick. That pick was insane. Like he did not expect that. He didn't get to click the button either. It was perfectly CC'd, and once he's gone, it just makes it that much easier. And I'll give credit where credit due is due. Mac almost was able to turn it there, with him versus Bori in that 1v1, and we know how good Vayne is as a 1v1er, but just barely did not have enough, and it was a clean ace. And Soul pretty much wraps up the game. Like you said, the Sway and the Zac, they're happy campers. I think at the end of the game, they were trying to kill the Zac. Verika ults him into the death realm, and he's just like perma healing. Like he's dying, but he's also healing. Like he healed so much during that fight before it really broke out. It was kind of like if he didn't have Ocean Soul, they might have been able to like turn the game a bit off that pick.
Yeah. Also, like the lack of anti-healing from Femboys was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, bit concerning, huh? Guys,
Yeah.
we gotta clean that up. That's unacceptable. You're all fired.
Yeah, it's some rec league losing the shopkeeper there.
So, well, let's go
That's
ahead
it.
and jump into the final game of the week. And uh, Femboy is able to come out on top, close out the series 3-1. We've all kind of been watching their ascent. It's been a pretty amazing thing to find themselves in grand finals here. Uh, I wouldn't say I'm surprised as much as I'm impressed uh, with everything up to this point. But this game four, um, specifically, is something I was not impressed by, and I'm gonna stand very firm on this. And I know you watch the show, Brand. You know we could go back and forth on this one. I hate Elise here, and I honestly hate Elise almost every time. If GeoPro wants to play it, go right ahead. That's fine. Support. Who cares? It's a support pick. I don't like Elise Jungle. I haven't liked it for a long time. Like, if people pull it out and it works, it's great, whatever, fine. But like her requirement to win a game is like get a huge lead and then win the game before 25 minutes, basically. Like she's AP Lee Sin, but I would argue Lee Sin has more value right now as a mid late game champion than Elise will ever will. I think Cocoon is good, but it's really just like good luck actually landing it when you get to that point in the game. Whereas like Lee Sin can still find meaningful flanks. Being a kick bot is just fine. And to be honest, his mid game, late game damage isn't that poor. Technically, Elise has higher scalings because in that department. But I don't know, man. I think she's just get her out of my face, man. She's good for dives though. I will say that. But that's about it.
Mm, I'm don't know enough, and I don't see her enough to really formulate whether I agree or disagree with you. I do agree. Like it does feel like an AP Lee Sin where it has to get off the ground early. But I think as far as like the comparison, you gotta contextualize like what it's into. I don't think Elise is great this game, but I can understand where like you're going to go. You got a lot of setup with Caitlyn Trap, Morgana Q, Elise Cocoon. Like there's a big deep CC chain there where they can pop somebody. I think the story of like this draft more into Femboys is 4-5 and the Galio Camille. I think they probably are watching way too much LCK and just found an angle to pull this off. You really only have one place to go when you're drafting this B1 through 3, and Casante's a nice answer to it. Don't get me wrong, but Camille just, from my understanding, really stomps that matchup, especially in the mid to late game after she gets an item or two. And the Bard is kind of like a decent like attempt at an answer, but his ult, by the time it comes in, it might be too late. Like he has to be preemptive with it. So
Yeah. This
um,
this game happened after the World Finals, right?
yes.
Yeah, they were watching T1 for sure. Was,
I mean, we've seen Camille Gallio for years, and then
yeah,
we
I know
know
for
Gallio
sure.
Jarvan is also very good. So it makes natural sense that all three are very good. And this is where I also think Femboy Jellyfish played to their roster strength. Like, it's Rurika is a very talented mid laner, and Arresto put up a really solid fight this whole series, but it's maybe a little bit of champ pool diff, but also this just kind of fits what Femboy Jellyfish wants to do. They want to throw the first punch. They want to be proactive. They can get leads through laning phases, and once the ults start to come into play, they're very coordinated in that regard.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I think another thing is coin flip. Like my concern with them, we talked about it a bit. Was what was the champ pool going to look like into game 4, game 5, and I think we're seeing some of those limitations, um, a bit. Uh, I, I I do think they can still go to a game 5 and win. Like they're not incapable of doing so by no means. They're a type of players and type of team that can do so on any given game day. It's just that I think it's harder for them to pull off as the series go deeper, and I think it's been a blessing for them to be able to, win these first two weeks prior to this, in sweeps and 3-0s. So um, I am worried about them a bit as they come up into Instinct. There is a lot of history there, as Arctic did talk about as well. But I think that's going to be their biggest test, because I know, like, you could say, well, no, the biggest test was the Femboys, but I think the test against Instinct will prove if they can hang with Femboys in the grand finals, in my opinion. And I still think they should be able to do so. Um, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, like I said, I just speaking specifically of draft, and we can kind of go into the gameplay a little bit. Um, they picked their comfort champions, and I think they still are okay with that. But I think Femboys, it was just more of a type of the hat to them to see what they picked and react to it quite well, more
Yeah,
so than like, all right, coin flip, did you just run out of champions? I don't think they did, because they are very creative, and they play a lot of different things in there. So it was just a really good, well put together draft by Femboys. So that's I think they did well. I mean, coin flip still went blow for blow with them in the early game. Brandino was being pretty proactive across this map, and it just ended up kind of going to the team fights here, especially when Noah got ahead on this Camille. He snowballed this game really, really hard.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, I mean, with all that being said, I mean, I think my biggest takeaway after that is just Femboys looks just really solid, man. They've proven
Hmm.
themselves. If there was any questions or any doubts coming into these last couple of weeks, I think uh, they've been solved. Those doubts should be out the window. They find themselves in the grand finals, and I'd be hard not to pick them for whoever they play against, as they've beaten both these teams that are competing to compete against them. Um, I shouldn't have even picked against them this week. I had to because of the Bori magic. Um, but
Hmm.
maybe there's a new magic in town. Maybe it's the Noah magic. I have a lot of great storylines for the last week. But yeah, man, it's been great. It's been a great playoffs.
We can't
Um, so
we can't disregard Mr. Max Penta here in this game.
Oh yeah, when did it happen? I'll put it up on the
Uh,
I'll put it up on here.
roughly. So the fight starts. Um, say around the 21-minute mark. It was kind of a slow, kind of just chugfest on this fight until Mac got involved. So they get a pick off on Matthias, and then just Mac is just free firing here. Big shout out to Higgins. I think he felt bad for having to play an enchanter, so he's like, okay, I'm just gonna flash in and WE Mac here, and then he gets the fade away Ash ult for the Penta, the rapid up.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely watch that before I hop on here. I was watching the last fight there at the end, so the viewers
Mhm.
know how this game ended. Um,
I mean, this Penta kind of broke this game open a little bit. Looking at the game state, they were fairly even on gold, one dragon apiece. I think plating was kind of playing a big factor in keeping Jellyfish into this game here. But this Penta turned into second dragon, turned into Otacon here,
yeah,
and they really started to
yeah.
play
I
these
mean,
fights out.
I think
Coinflip did kind of throw a Hail
I
Mary there at
think
the
it's
22
safe
minute
to
mark.
say that Mac might have some magic of his own. You know, he has the chance of doing something only Borg has done, winning um, back to back championships in the modern era. I should point that out. Actually, Boyer might be the only one at 80 carry to do it. I got to double check, but I think he might be the only actual 80 carry to win back to back. So historically, I'll have to check that. But yeah, in the modern era, in the last, I'll call it last 3 years, I'll call that the modern era of Midwest. He's the only person to do it, and he has a chance to do what Bori has done, right? The other thing is, I want to point out, and I think this is for the storyline of it all. There's a chance that Noah might be one of the greatest subs ever because he could win back-to-back chips as a sub coming in and subbing in the playoffs. So he's got a bit of that playoff magic himself. Um, and then Marika, he has a chance, and I'm gonna put this out here, but with the way he's playing, it's inarguable at this point that in the grand finals he could end up being certainly the finals MVP, right? Like, I mean, he has a huge angle to pull that off. If it's not him, it's obviously Max. So it's one of them, right? But let's say he is. That would mean he'd be the only person to ever win Finals MVP and regular season MVP in our history. So there's a lot of cool storylines coming in here, and of course Higgins and Turris along for the ride to get their first chips as well. So it could be a really really fun setup for Femboy Jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, we do have uh, another person coming in. Give me just a moment. Uh, So yeah, so bringing in, we have two more guests here to round out the end of the show. Here, we're going to talk predictions, but we have actually members of Hashira, both Akaza and Gyomie, of the team here. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, man. Excited to be here.
Of course, I'm sorry we couldn't have you guys on for majority of the show, but hey, predictions are always fun, and whatnot. So I know before you guys came on, Yomi, you kind of had a lot that you wanted to say about this series. So kind of give me your take first on the coin flip versus instinct series here coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, so I predicted coin flip 3-1, just off of how both teams played against us. I felt like Instinct kind of just sacks bot lane, lets the ADC just like free farm, and I feel like that's something coin flip can exploit because they really like to play through bot, especially Bori. I feel like he's a really good player and he can definitely take over just by himself. One thing I will say is Instinct really likes to play through mid jungle and support. They pick really strong mid jungle support. So I feel like if GeoPro and Brandino pick good skirmishers that counter whatever Instinct plays, they have a very good shot at shutting down the mid jungle support and then winning through bot lane.
Yeah, no, I definitely get where you're coming from. I think I don't know if they sack the bot lane, I'll say, but I definitely do think they don't play through Eclipse as much, right? It's good boy angle. You play through whatever one seems to feel is the best player of the team. I don't know if that's how they feel, but based on their play, it could kind of lead that direction. Don does set up a lot of plays himself, and I've said he's been like a big focal point for Instinct as well. Coin flip, yeah, they're a unique team. They do a lot of different stuff. I mean, you guys have experienced some of those crazy picks, right? They pull out
Yeah.
some insane things there. But yeah, I mean, Akaza, what do you think? What do you think about this matchup?
Personally, I went 3-1 or 3-2 Instinct mainly because of how it felt to face both teams. I feel like I had a better showing against Coin Flip than I did against Instinct, and I think that's mainly due to how they play around their mid lane. I also like playing around the mid, and I found it more difficult to make plays with my jungler or with my support in mid lane. So yeah, I think mid jungle will be a big factor in it. But it's 3-2 because yeah, Bori again, he's an insane player, so anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely insane. I mean, I've talked about him for, I mean, forever now. It feels like years, but it hasn't been years. But I think the other side. I mean, there's insane players on both teams. Like, I mean, Bori's insane, but like Artic has had crazy spots that are just mind-boggling to me. I mean, I don't think you guys were here yet, but Havoc, he's actually one of our mods. For a long time, easily one of the best top laners we had, and I remember him solo killing him multiple times in a series on a split where Havoc was just destroying everybody. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, where did he come from? And he was doing it on stuff like Ornn. I'm like, what is this? Like, this doesn't even make sense. And I've seen Avo on like stuff like Wukong just go off. Sejuani is another one of those like big picks for him. I could talk about all 10 of these players and just talk about how much they're just all just stars and studs because I don't think anybody really hasn't had moments to shine on their teams. But I do agree with you. Bori always just is a factor. Like if he's on any team he's on, it's hard to bet against him. It's something that we have so far in the show. It seems like we never really do. I might have to break that today, but generally speaking, I've always been against doing so. It's just something about his he has this magic touch when he gets to playoffs. So, CLT, what are you kind of feeling?
Uh Man, this is a tough one, a really exciting one. I'm gonna go 3-2 Instinct. I think it kind of comes down to similar to what I think about coin flip versus like femboys, where they Instinct is gonna have answers and have a lot more comfort on, especially in the solo lanes, a lot more variety of picks. Like Good Boy has a champion Ocean. We've seen it the last 3 splits that they've played, and I feel like Don's gonna be able to play either some really strong laning picks to try and not let the bot lane get out of control, or he's just gonna tell Arctic or sorry, Eclipse, you know, just grind this out and I'm gonna make plays elsewhere. And he'll be able to swing some of these river skirmishes. Uh, but for me, yeah, it comes down to the solo lanes yet again. I think Matthias and Arresto are fantastic players, but Coinflip definitely has their solo laners playing specific styles and champions. And when they've deviated from that against some of these top teams and top solo laners, they've been punished. But I do think coin flip is going to make them earn it. It's not going to be the typical coin flip instinct where Instinct just 2-0, 3-0s them, and they move along. Like, no, coin flips, they're coming to play, and Bori alone can win you a map, and their draft alone, with some of their creativity, can throw some wrenches and maybe win a map here.
Yeah, that's a fair take. Real quick, I'll give Nexus's take for everybody here watching. So he said he's gonna go for spice, but I based on this panel so far, there isn't as much. It's not as a spicy of a take, I think. But he says he's gonna give him coin flip 3-1. He says coin flip continuing to prove week over week. Team play and team fighting has looked really good and strong. Brandino continuing to have good looks in the jungle games. And he likes Bori over Eclipse. He thinks he's got versatility for a BO5 and can at least keep things even in the bot lane. Expecting these games to go long and a quality ADC to take them over the edge with Bori. The biggest key for him, though, is going to be Aristotle. Can he neutralize Good Boy, who has been great so far this year, which I don't think is a crazy take there. He's Good Boy's obviously been fantastic as always. Yeah, and it's just me. Like, so what do I feel? Well, if you guys are all wondering, my take is just it's hard. It's always hard to pick against Bori, but I think Instinct here, they've had the edge in the past. There's a lot of historical evidence to prove that. When these two teams have played before, Instinct usually wins. So I'm leaning somewhere around the lines of a 3-2 this time because I think Coin Flip has finally come far enough to really make this a full series. They're not going to get swept by no means. But I do think it's the edge for Instinct, and I'm gonna give them like a 51-49 edge here, and that's kind of where I'm leaning. So, with that said, I got some stuff I wanted to share with you guys, but before I do, I just kind of want to get you guys' take. This is a little small. You don't have to go deep into it, but how did it feel these last 2 weeks playing out your guys' matches?
Um, I'll let Akaza take it first.
I definitely think most of our games were winnable, but it's not as I don't think it was as close as many of the people made it seem. Like we didn't win a single game out of any of the playoffs games we played. So yeah, I think we are relatively new to this this league, and most of the teams we faced have, I believe, had a couple runs together. So most of it just came down to team synergy and like team play. I think with more splits to come for us, it will obviously get better and we'll gel better together. But yeah, I think the difference between the top three and the rest of the league is really, really large. So coin flipped instinct and femboys are obviously clear cut like above the rest of the league. But I think if we played anyone above or below the top three, we would have definitely had a better showing. But we'll come back stronger next split and show what we can do in playoffs.
I I I uh I definitely respect your take on that part you just said, where you think those three are kind of far and away better. But I actually
Yep.
disagree for the sake of this. Just look at the first round, right? We had a 5 game series between Femboys and Vancouver, right? So I do think it's a little closer, even in like maybe the like 6 to 8 bracket, um, than like it might appear. And to me, like, again, I get where you're also coming from, where it's like, hey, we got 3-0 twice. Like, how could we even be close? The games matter. Context always matters. You guys didn't lose by like 10K each game. They were very, very close. Um, so, like, that's the only thing I'll have to say on that one. But I do get your feelings, and I know you guys want to have a better showing. Like, you guys want to be able to pick up a couple wins. If you're gonna lose, like, lose with more grace is what you're kind of leaning towards. But
Yeah.
I think you guys should take your hats off and congratulate yourselves, because finishing top 4, especially after what happened last split. I know last split, to me, last split should be more disappointing, right?
Yeah, for
this
sure.
this was a far better finish than the last one. So it takes time to win. You just don't wake up and win overnight. And like you said, you guys are new to the league, so maybe next split will be the split. We'll have to see. There'll be some time off. It'll be definitely a new season, so we'll see those changes there. Um, Yomi, did you have anything you wanted to kind of say about how it felt, or I know you kind of let him take the reins, but was there anything you wanted to add into that?
Um, well, I feel like I'm gonna go the opposite of what he said. I feel like most games we played, we were winnable. Like we had three or 5K gold leads. When I watched the games back, it felt like we could have won. We could have won all those games. Maybe not one of them. Um, first one against Instinct, but felt like every other game against Instinct and Coin Flip was winnable. We were in the lead many times, and we kind of just are inconsistent as a team, which is why we struggled. And another thing is, teams started realizing that we kind of relied on AP carries in the bot lane, um, and they started banning out AP champs, because that's what my ADC likes playing. And we kind of struggled to adapt after that because if you look at our flex history, that's like primarily what we have been practicing. But regardless, I feel like if we were to play again and probably have more time to practice different stuff, some of these games where we have 5K gold leads, we can probably convert them. That's why it feels super frustrating for me because felt like we just kept throwing. But I do agree with you that it's better than last split because last split towards the end, we weren't even able to get any leads against anyone. We kind of just lost, so I think we improved on that now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that's a good mindset to have. I'm not saying that cause your mindset's bad or anything. I get like you have that like Jordan mentality. Like it's not good enough. We didn't win. I don't care. Which is good. Like keep that vibe honestly. But also
Yeah.
sometimes like you kind of have to give yourself a little credit because a lot of times as humans we can be our biggest critics, our own personal critics. And that sometimes is a good thing. It's sometimes a bad thing though. It can ruin your own mentality and your own confidence because you're beating yourself up all the time. So maybe go back and watch the games a little more and try to find some positives out and take that and go into next split with it. And luckily, you're gonna have a lot of time to kind of let it all soak in, and so maybe your outlook will change in a couple months. You know, so
Another thing I wanted to add since you brought up Vancouver, I thought they were like really bad when we played against them. Like they literally didn't do anything in any lane against us. They just kind of like won by stealing objectives. But it was funny how they kind of almost 3-0'd Femboys. Um, I was watching the third game. Sivir was like 4-1 or something. I don't know how they threw that into a reverse sweep, but yeah, I feel like playoff teams were kind of close, and on a given day, anyone could have beaten anyone else.
yeah,
I don't know if you guys agree with me.
no, I definitely agree for the most
Yeah.
part. I think there was a couple teams that were definitely bottom barrel and that they had a hard time pulling off any wins, but for the most part, it was definitely pretty close throughout the split. Um, so I'm excited to see what next split brings as always, but we still got two more series to play. And as you guys can see, viewers up here, I got the full panel for you. You can see it's a full 50-50 split, and we even added Rika in again this week, so he wanted to be a part of the picks here. And he went with a 3-1 coin flip. So you got Gyomie, Marika, Nexus, all with a 3-1 coin flip, and then me, CLT, and Akaza, all 3-2 for Instinct.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's kind of interesting. Nobody wants to go for the daring sweep. We all believe in the some games being battled out. With that said, I
I
think
mean, that's Brandino. You can never say 3-0 when Brandino is there, the
yes,
Hey,
Brandino's the
man.
Brandino
goat, bro.
factor.
yes. All right. Well, CLT, I'm gonna let the caster of the year here make the special announcement here on the show. So would you go ahead, CLT?
So, Akaza, you've had an absolutely fantastic split. You've made so many plays. You've stood out amongst everybody and voted on by your peers. You were the MVP for this split, my friend.
Hey, let's
Let's
go.
go. Let's go.
It feels a bit weird after losing and going out in the playoffs the way we did, but I'll accept it nevertheless.
I'm putting it. I'm putting it in big bold letters, right under your name, so everyone can see. Yeah. Congratulations, man. I've talked a lot about you this split, and for good reason. You've looked phenomenal. I mean, every time you've pretty much stepped on the Rift, and I know you probably didn't have the showing you wanted to in the playoffs, but I think that is less of a negative towards you and more of a positive towards the other teams, identifying that you were kind of the leading charge of the team this year, and so they knew they had to try to neutralize you. And I think I don't know if you guys are football fans, but if you're not, it's okay. I'm still going to make this reference. There's a coach, Bill Belichick, for the Patriots for years. His rule of thumb was always to take away the best player, and then, or maybe not the best player, but take away a specific player from the team, or a specific part of how they want to do things, and make them beat you with the worst element of the team. So like, if the quarterback wasn't good, then and the running back was, you take away the running back and say beat us with your arm. And so I feel like that's kind of what happened. These two teams, they decided we're gonna take you out of the equation. Somebody else beat us, and sometimes that's kind of how it goes. But maybe that means now you guys can become a more complete team next split.
Yeah, bro, I appreciate it. I've heard all the praises on the shows, the MVP shouts, so big ups to you.
Yeah, I think I made a joke. I made a joke with the mod team that I gotta stop talking about MVP on the show because I feel like I'm slightly influencing it. I'm becoming one of those talk show hosts on like Sports Center. You know, I'm pushing the debate that direction. I'm happy to, but at the same point, like I would never put a person's name out there that didn't feel like to me was deserving, and that's why I gave other candidates. I think there was a lot of other worthy individuals that could have been the MVP, but I think the fans and the your peers chose correctly. So I wouldn't doubt that for 1 second.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone who voted for me, and also big shout out to my teammates. You guys made this season fun and pushed me every single day.
Yeah, they did. They pushed.
You have to carry us.
I was mid sentence, and then I unplugged my headset. All I heard is yeah you did unplug. Uh yeah. But anyways, yeah. I don't even remember what I was gonna say. I threw myself off. But yeah. Anything else you guys want to say before we head out of here?
Mm,
Not really. Just congrats to the teams that have made it this far. Hopefully, we get to see some good League of Legends.
I expect we
yeah,
will.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's gonna be bangers.
Go ahead, Akaza. Sorry.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. Good luck to the rest of the teams. They've shown a lot of class after beating us and saying that the games have been close, so I don't mind who wins. I just want to see some banger series.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, thank you too for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. And again, I'm sorry we couldn't have you guys on for longer, but I hope this little experience was something that you guys enjoyed. And now you see why I really wanted to get you on the show here.
Yeah. I figured after you told me there was a surprise, but yeah, it
Yeah,
was fun.
I didn't want to reveal anything, but like originally we were gonna reveal the MVP. I think during the finals, playing the actual series, but then I was just kind of reaching out to people to join the show this week, and then I kind of just see if you want to join, and then CLT's like, well, you know what? If you're gonna have him on there, we might as well just reveal the MVP. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So
CLT the
You,
GOAT.
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. You guys have been nothing but too kind to me. So
all right, guys. Well, I'll do a sign offs here, and then everybody can go home and relax. Oh wait, we're already in our homes. Maybe. Um,
Yep.
who 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 is? Did you guys see that person in that channel above us?
Wait, what?
what
Jacob.
the?
Wait, that's
Do you
your
know
thing.
that guy?
That's me. That's my name. This guy's memeing me. This guy. Okay. I think I know who it
So,
is. I think I know who it is.
I got at least a decent guess.
Yeah. If you're thinking Tenzin Dropboard, yeah, it's probably him.
Yeah, that's my guess.
He's memeing us. All right. Anyways, thank you guys again for watching the show. Thank you two for coming on, Akaza and Gyomie here, and also to Artic earlier. And we will see you guys this Saturday for the Coin Flip vs Instinct series, which should be 100% a banger. And hopefully we get finals done before Thanksgiving. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah, that'll be it from me. And also thank you, CLT. I can't forget this guy. I was about to forget this guy. So, we're going to be out of here, guys. We'll see you soon. So, peace out and take care.